Have you ever wondered why the moon looks different every night? You'd be surprised to know that the way the moon looks to us is not so much about the moon as it is about the sun and the earth. The phases of the moon that we view from Earth depend on the position of both the sun and the moon with respect to the earth. In this presentation, we're going to explore each phase, but first, let's understand how this works. The moon has a spherical shape, much like a basketball, only much, much larger, of course. Although it doesn't always look that way to us, we always see exactly half of the moon. Sometimes the half is lit up by the sun and we see it, and at other times it isn't lit by the sun at all and we can't see anything. Most of the time, the part of the moon that we see is partially lit by the sun and partially shadowed. The moon looks different to us depending on its location in orbit. Remember that the moon revolves around the Earth once every 29 days, or once a month. As the moon moves around our Earth, we see a different part of it lit by the sun. These are called the phases of the moon. Let's take a look at what they are. The four primary phases of the moon are new moon, first quarter, full moon, and third quarter. The intermediate phases between these primary phases are waxing crescent, waxing gibbous, waning gibbous, and waning crescent. The lunar cycle begins with the new moon. During this phase, the moon is not visible from the Earth because the half of the moon that faces away from the Earth is lit and we only see the dark half. During the waxing crescent, during the waxing crescent phase, we begin to see a very, very small part of the moon lit by the sun, but most of it is still shadowed. In the first quarter phase, only half of the moon is visible from the Earth. This is because the right half of the moon is lit and the left side is still shadowed. In the waxing gibbous phase, more than half of the moon appears lit by the sun. When you see a waxing gibbous moon, you know that a full moon is just a few days away. During the full moon phase, the moon is on one side of the Earth and the sun is on the other. The sun illuminates the half of the moon that faces the Earth directly, and the moon looks to us like a full round circle. In the waning gibbous phase, the other half of the moon is lit by the sun and we see it looking like a little less than a full circle. The waning gibbous moon looks like it's shrinking, but it's not. In the third quarter phase, the left half of the moon appears lit and the right side of the moon appears dark. During the waning crescent phase, the moon looks like a crescent. This moon signals the beginning of a new cycle and means that you will see the new moon in a few days. And then the lunar cycle starts all over and repeats itself. So there you have it. Those are the phases of the moon and the lunar cycle. Now for tomorrow's class, make sure that you're prepared to share what you've discussed in today's lecture, and be sure to bring in any comments or questions, anything that you want to share regarding this lesson with you. Thank you.